Hi everyone. Yesterday I received a positive test result for COVID-19. This is something that I'm going to keep to myself until I get better. I felt it was a bit surprising just because this past weekend I had symptoms, but then they went away. Initially I wanted to get tested just because, to put my mind at ease. I've been so cautious and so aware, and I haven't really even seen people, I haven't hung out with people, I haven't gone out, I haven't done anything besides the necessities of grocery shopping. Like, how did I do everything right and it still ended up happening? Kevin, who I live with, tested negative, which was also shocking because I had not heard of anybody where one person was positive and the other person was negative when they've been so close. I had a fever for like a day that was like over 100 a little bit, and I was lethargic and I was tired and I had a little bit of chills and like some of the other stuff, but it was never like debilitating. I just thought my body was like, you need a rest. And Kevin hasn't had any symptoms, so I was just like, well, it's obviously singular, it's me. So I wanted to make this just because I'm hoping that when I get on the other side of this and I get a negative result, hopefully in a couple weeks, I have a reference for people that I know of, and I could share my experience and hopefully let you know that hopefully everything is okay. And that's not something that I know of yet, but I trust my body, I trust my mind, I trust my spirit, and I trust my soul that I'll be okay. I woke up today and I was worried that like getting that positive test result, I was going to just spiral and start thinking and like everything was bad and I was going to start having all these symptoms again. And so far, that hasn't been the case. And I'm really proud of myself for trying to keep a positive mindset. And I think that the hardest part is just going to be now being isolated by myself in my room for a couple of weeks. But it's still a very stressful situation because you're still in a space to share it with someone and you just don't know. It's all of the uncertainty. In this moment, I feel so uncertain. That's the hardest part, is just not knowing. So I just wanted to create, I guess, a daily time capsule of what this experience is for me. So I'm wearing my Power Ranger shirt to feel like a superhero, and I just ask the universe to take care of me, to watch over me. See you tomorrow. Day 2. I woke up, I feel okay. I was worried that I was going to start feeling symptoms because I now know that I'm positive. So I'm proud of myself for not like going into this like hypochondriac spiral of like being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. My temperature is changing. It's fluctuating a little bit, but it's like sometimes it's low, sometimes it's a little high, but it's not to the point where it's in my mind super scary. My hair is so long. Wow, I need to get a haircut. JK. I think my throat feels a little sore just because like of the anxiety. I'm not taking nice deep breaths. So I'm like trapped in my throat. But like I'm not coughing, but I'm drinking lots of tea and lots of cough drops. It's definitely a weird feeling to feel like you're alone with it. I don't know anyone who else is tested positive, so I feel really alone in not knowing. Like I don't have a reference to somebody who healed and it was fine. And I think that that's a little scary for me. It would help if personally I knew someone who like definitely had a positive test and definitely was fine and got a negative result, and how long it took them to get the negative result, and yada yada yada, and I just don't know that. And I hope that eventually maybe this helps someone with that. So far my symptoms haven't come back that I did have. I didn't record when I was having symptoms because I didn't know what was happening. But day 2, I still feel like I'm getting better, and that's all I can hope for. I feel okay. It's just like right now I feel like I'm in the height of like the anxiety. Like it's all kind of settling in that like I now will have to stay in my room for 2 weeks. I think it's just the anxiety of not knowing how your body is going to respond. I'm trying not to like read a bunch of stuff. I'm really trying to just focus on staying in a good mindset, and that I think for me is just like unplugging from information. I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I don't have a cough. So yeah, check in with you tomorrow. I took a shower, my hair feels good. This is day 4 since I got my positive diagnosis, technically like day 8 since I first started having symptoms. Honestly, I felt okay the day I got my positive test. So really it's just hoping that nothing comes back, nothing changes. I'm still taking medication, but I haven't really had a fever. I've been checking my fever. It's like kind of all over the place. It's like a little bit under what would be normal, a little bit over, but not like to the point where it's scary. So far being stuck in my room hasn't been horrible because I've had stuff to work on. I'm sure I'll start getting cabin fever. Luckily I have a beautiful window that overlooks the garden. Here's my hand pretending like I can be outside feeling the sun. We're on day 5. We're on day 5. I woke up feeling okay. I have a little bit of a sore throat, but I still haven't had any coughs. I continue to sleep with my heating pad. Don't know if that does a whole lot. Makes me feel comfortable. I think Kevin is going to leave maybe tomorrow or the next day so that I can roam around freely at the house and not be confined to my bedroom. But here we are. Kevin has decided that he's going to go stay at a friend's house just so that I can have freedom in the space and in the home, which is understandable and respectful. I am definitely nervous to be by myself, which is not to say that like I can't be by myself. I think it's just that like, you know, there's something comforting with having another person here while like there's already so much uncertainty. My temperature has been down for a couple of days now, so according to the email I got, I actually shouldn't be contagious anymore. You know, we obviously want to be safe, we want to be smart. I think the space he's going into, the person tested and they tested negative, so he feels safe, and he just tested again, so it seems like they were responsible and smart about it. Being alone in this space with this gives me time to reflect, and I hope that I can get to a place where I can be reflective, and I hope I get to a place where I can have some hard conversations that I need to have with myself. I'll be able to use the TV, which is nice. Watch some Real Housewives on a big screen. So we're at the end of week 1. Kevin left last night, so I'm now in the house by myself, which is why I'm out in the living room. I threw on my tiger fur coat to just like make myself feel better. Last night was a little challenging, I ain't gonna lie, being by myself. I was worried when I woke up that I was gonna feel a certain type of way. But, you know, it definitely helps being able to be in the space. I've opened up the windows in the living room, I have the front door open, making my own meals again. You know, I'm using the same plate, same bowl, same fork, same spoon. Like I have like a little kit that I made so that that's all I'll be using. Physically, I feel okay. My throat is still a little sore. I'm constantly drinking tea. I really think that it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm not breathing properly. I'm holding in my breath. I'm taking really shallow breaths because I'm so stressed, I think. It would be really surprising to me if all of a sudden I started having crazy symptoms again, but you just don't know. And that's the problem with it. It's like you just don't know. I really trust my body, and I'm starting to really trust my mind. We'll see how the next week goes with being by myself. You know, Kevin is not going to come back until I get a negative test result. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'm going to watch some TV today, though. Oh, hey, it's me. Day 8. I'm wearing another fur because I've decided that... Oh, that was not a fart, that was a stool. I haven't had any flatulence problems. I feel okay. I did laundry today. I still have a little bit of a sore throat, but it's definitely not as bad. At night, it's definitely hard being here by myself. During the day, I feel like I have so much stuff that I'm working on. I'm editing a bunch of stuff. But then at night, once I start like making dinner for myself and watching TV, like those are the things that normally Kevin and I would do together. So since he's not here and I'm doing them just by myself, it definitely feels like lonely. Even that like little normal routine that we had throughout quarantine and regular life really is different. Fortunate enough to where like Headspace is available for us here in LA. I've used Headspace to try to meditate before I fall asleep. I'm journaling every night, which has been really good. I'm trying to decide if I want to get tested a little bit earlier or if I should wait the full 14 days. They say that if you don't have a fever for 3 consecutive days without medication, you should be good. And then they also say if your like cough and your respiratory problems have subsided, you should be good. I still haven't had any cough or respiratory problems. I'm gonna take this off and log off because it's starting to get hot, and this was just for video. So, bye. Decided to come sit in the little outdoor area now. I think it's like starting to really settle in, like just being by myself. And I have definitely a lot of respect for people who have been quarantining by themselves. Fortunately, health-wise, I feel okay. My throat feels a little better. I still don't want a bunch of people to know that I'm going through this. I don't want to feel like a burden. I don't want to feel, you know, because it could be so much worse. But yeah, I'm gonna just sit outside. I'm listening to a couple audiobooks, you know, just continue to count down the days until I can get retested. Hey everyone, this is day 10, and I'm up on my roof getting some much needed vitamin D because they say that's good if you are fighting the virus. I also just felt like I needed to get outside of the house, and this is the safest place to be outside, obviously, because I can't be around anyone really up here. Whew. And I just needed to be able to like clear my head. I feel so many things. It's a lot when you're forced to be by yourself while the environment, the world, this country is already in so much uncertainty and unknown. And then when you have this virus on top of it and you don't know what's going on with your body, you don't know how your body's going to respond. And it's a lot to deal with by yourself. Reflecting and evaluating and figuring out life and all of that stuff is like just adding to the emotions. But it's like, what else can you do at this time besides like think about where you are and what you want? And obviously once I'm in the clear, then I can really dissect everything and really like figure out stuff. I haven't read a bunch of stuff of, you know, how people mentally and emotionally deal with this, and that was just something I wasn't prepared for. And I think that like if there's one piece of advice I can give, it's like just be prepared mentally too for how difficult it is. And there's also the emotions of an anxiety of being in the clear and feeling like I'm ready to be in the clear, but just not knowing. It's just like adding more fuel to the fire of like You know, I feel like there's like a revolution going on around me and my environment, and now there's like this emotional revolution that's occurring in my body and in my mind and in my spirit, which is not a bad thing. I have to give my body and my mind a lot more credit than I ever thought. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, this is my plant, aka my new lover. We get along swimmingly, right? I'm potentially losing my mind because I think I'm in love with this plant. That's where we're at. I feel fine. I feel ready to get tested again. I don't think that's the responsible thing to do. I think the responsible thing to do is to wait. So I'm going to continue to wait. My legs when I don't wear any pants, so plant over pants, right? This is rough. I feel like people talk a lot about the symptoms, but they don't talk about the isolation aspect of this and how hard that is when you don't know what's going on in your body to be isolated. To feel like people can't be around you. It's hard. Focus on me. Okay, I'm in the kitchen. I'm making some tea. I just made myself some breakfast. I'm wearing a Power Rangers shirt again to make me feel strong because last night was rough. It's just hard. It's hard to feel like, I literally keep saying it, I feel like a leper. To my neighbors, to Kevin, to like anybody. You feel like a leper. Nobody can be around you. The challenge with my body has been okay. And I feel like it was successful. And now the challenge is with my mind. I'm grateful that I've been doing this because I think it's allowed me to like reflect, and same with the journaling at night. I really do think that there needs to be some studies, or there needs to be some sort of like isolation assistance for people that are isolated completely, even during quarantine. Like, I know that people have friends and yada yada, but like the like whole mental aspect of all of this, like there needs to be a greater discussion. Because even once I'm okay, like I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be on edge. I don't know if I'm gonna like be more anxious. I don't know, and that's scary. It feels like the battle is not over now. Like even when I get a negative test result, which I'm still hoping for, knock on wood. That wasn't wood, that was my face. I feel like being productive is the most important thing you can do if you have this. Find things to be productive. So I'm gonna end on that and go be productive by tanning on the roof by myself in isolation. I'm on my deck, which is nice. I'm still not going down to like where my neighbors are and stuff, just to be courteous. Kevin called and said that he might be coming back tonight early because he got a job where he needs his studio. I'll have to go back into my room if he comes back early. Should be getting an in-home test tomorrow, so hopefully I don't have to stay in my room for too long because I'll get those results quick. I feel good. I feel okay. I'm anxious. I'm definitely anxious for the test. I think now that's starting to set in. Like I had the anxiety of the virus, and now I have the anxiety of knowing that I don't have the virus. If that makes any sense. And now that's like what I have anxiety about, is like actually being negative. Because if I'm not, then that means that I have to isolate for longer, and I don't want to do that. But I'm grateful to be having a test come to my house, so I don't have to drive and get a test done. Thank you to my friend Chris. He is a sweetheart. Yeah, we'll just play the waiting game now, I guess. Tomorrow's test day. Just got tested. So we are in day 14 of well, technically day 15 from when I first had symptoms. So the guy just came by, gave me a private test, took it back to the lab. Now I wait. I'm anxious about that. So I feel ready for it. Kevin came back last night. I haven't seen him yet. I basically did my test and then I came here to do this, so I haven't talked to him yet, but I am excited he's back. I'm not excited to stay in my room again. I had a little taste of freedom, and now it's back to my dungeon. This is the hard part. I feel like I wasn't prepared for, was like, just not feeling like you are yourself. It's especially hard when you're in your own home, and I'm sure he feels the same way because, you know, he feels like he can't just interact how he normally does. So that's something that I just feel like is not talked about, and it's a huge component of living with this virus. We just wait. I don't want to wait. I just want to be free. I want to go on a walk. Things have changed. My first test that I had, the results came back inconclusive. So at this point, I thought that I would already have an answer. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Luckily, I had scheduled a second test because Kevin had requested that. So now I'm very grateful at first, even though I was sad by it, just because I really thought that I was going to get this one test and then I was going to be able to be normal again. The person who came to do the first test is going to come back and give me a second test. So I'll still have 2 tests to put me in the clear. It's just frustrating because I really thought that at this point I would already have some sort of answer. I would know, like, yes or no. Feeling disappointed because now I have to stay in my room for even longer than I thought I was going to have to. But hopefully it just means that when I get the results, and hopefully they're negative, it'll be all that much sweeter. Negative! Ah! I love my body, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body. I just got my negative test results, and I came up to the roof to celebrate because this roof has become like my safe haven and my place of just looking out over the city. I can see the Hollywood sign, and like I feel like I can finally exhale. I feel like I can finally like take deep, good breaths. And now I think like the real work starts on myself. You know, all of those emotions and all of those thoughts that happened while I was self-isolating, I can't just let those disappear. I need to start really delving into those emotions and those thoughts and those revelations. And that's what I mean when I say that I feel like now the real work begins. Now that I'm on the other side of being positive and I'm in the clear, I think I owe it to myself to not pretend like it didn't happen. And maybe I do that by myself. Maybe I do that with a therapist. Maybe I do that with family and friends. I don't know. But I know that there are really important conversations I have to have with myself. And we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to be gentle with ourselves. And I guess that's what I would just want to leave you with. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And you can try to make sense of everything that's going on. But if you can't, that's okay. You are so much stronger than you may realize in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul. And remember that. I'm done, baby. I'm gonna go on a walk. Hey everyone, me and Kevin are up on the roof. It's my first night outside.
That's me.
Kevin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how so excited are you that I tested negative?
You survived.
And I've got a mullet to prove it. Wow, it's beautiful. Loving life.